All right, guys, welcome to our first podcast. I'm really excited that we finally started this. We've been wanting to do this for a while. And for the first episode, I thought, what better than to have the entire team that I work with on a daily basis. I thought we would first discuss our journey, how creating our entire wealth management firm has been, and what our experiences have been like. So, Viraj, I just want to talk to you a little bit first. We started this in 2019, right? You were only 23 then. I was 27. We were working at pretty secure jobs back in our previous firm. And I remember coming to you and thinking, and saying that let's start our own wealth management firm, right? And I had no hopes. I had absolutely no hopes that you would say, yeah, let's do this. But somehow you said yes, right? So talk me through what were your thoughts, because for a 23-year-old to start their own wealth management business makes absolutely no sense, right? But you said yes to my surprise. So what was the thought process?
No, I think you did ask the right person. I'll tell you why.
Yeah, you were the first person I asked, by the
I
way.
don't know why, but I don't know if you know. Even when I was 16, right, I'd started a firm. It was called Blacklight Entertainment, and I think it was more or less similar only, wherein a group of friends, we just thought let's do something, right? And we thought we'll start something in events or whatever. We had a lot of options in mind, but yeah, still that was my college life throughout, right? And when we were working together at Anand Rathi, that in fact was a weird space for me because my first job, how to go about it, how to go about things was very different, right? But of course we got used to that. But on the back of my mind, right, always doesn't matter 23, 24, 25, it always was that you have to start something of your own, right? And when you approached me, I think I didn't even look back. I mean, I didn't even think for a second, if I recall it, right? It was just a yes, let's go.
Yeah. In
Right.
fact, I don't know what it was, but you were the first person that I spoke to.
Correct.
Because it was just in my mind that I wanted to start my own business. I thought it was about time. I think we had each been in the firm for about 3.5, 4 years, right? And it was just me thinking that I have to start a wealth management business, but I was fully aware that this was not something I could do on my own. So the first person that came to my mind was you. Like I said, I was not expecting a yes.
Fortunately.
But I think, again, I just want to ask you, you were just 23, was it stupidity that made you say yes? I mean, I was pretty young as well. I think for both of us, was
Look,
it just
23 and
stupidity?
27 in wealth management doesn't matter. It's
Doesn't
more or less a
matter,
similar
yeah,
age,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah,
I
neither-
think
nobody's
I
gonna
mean,
take you seriously.
both of us, if you remember one of our first few meetings, right? Even with the fund houses, I would say, or people we were just talking to in general, taking guidance. All of them had one input: what are you doing?
Yeah.
But I think I remember in a coffee shop also, right? The
Yeah.
first time we met someone, I think this guy was from Franklin, if I'm not wrong.
Franklin
He just
Templeton,
entered and
yeah.
he still, he saw us, but he's still looking for someone to meet.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Because I didn't, he could not think that, these two guys are someone who started their firm, right? So I think what worked very well for us was the confidence that we had.
Yeah.
In spite of repeatedly people telling us, right, that we might not make it, we might not make it.
Yeah.
In fact, that kind of charged us, that kind of gave us that energy
Yeah.
to do things the right way. So I think, and of course, you and I together with our different strengths, that kind of helped us through the initial journey as well. By the way, do you remember that?
I
That
do.
Initial first 6 months?
I do. In fact, when you said about the first meeting,
Yeah.
I remember the expression on people's faces when we said that we're here to start a wealth management firm and we'll be advising HNIs on how to invest their money. Do you remember we went to this large wealth management house to discuss? I'm not gonna take the name. I don't want to take the name. But
You might have to take the name.
No. But you'll know this. But there was a bald guy and we were discussing structured products.
Correct.
Do you remember his
Of course,
attitude?
of course I do.
Do you remember his attitude? He
He-
basically kicked us out of the
Yeah,
cabin.
I thought, on the phone, everything is very fine. Okay, come over, this, that, we'll present you our products and everything. And the moment he saw us, I think he lost interest or what. He just finished the meeting in 5 minutes
Yeah.
and explained us some random stuff and just probably assumed that, we weren't going to make it. But yeah, now we are here.
Yeah.
In fact, Akshay as well, right? When you joined us first, when we approached you, that
Right.
why don't you come and join us? What was going through your mind? What was your reaction to that?
So initially, like the both of you guys know, I had put down my papers as well. So I was looking for a job, and I think the only confusion there was like why I took the time that I did was because I had another offer, like which both of you guys know, because I did come and speak to you guys about it. And yeah, it did take me a lot of thinking about, like, because I had to change, like you said, it was a pretty settled job and things like that. And so I remember one of the days, like one of the evenings, that three of us were just sitting down, and, like, you guys were telling me why this is a good, yeah, Shiv Sagar, yeah. So I remember that, and then I believe, so what happened is, there's one very fond memory of mine why it's still like, it's still there, and I know the exact words what happened. So how that happened was, I went back home after the meeting with you guys, and I was still confused. I was still thinking. I was still in two minds whether to, like, which, or about which path to take. And I was just thinking. I was just sitting there. I just spoke to mom, and I told her this is my current situation. And still remember that one thing that she said. It went like this. So she said, if you basically you work with people you have fun with, then your work becomes fun. And that actually just hit me. And then I remember calling you guys the next moment, telling you guys, yeah, I mean, like, let's just go ahead with this.
Yeah, that's quite a story. I remember because you were definitely in two minds, and that offer. I'm pretty sure you did not want to work with the person who was giving you that offer. That is also one big.
Yeah, we can't name.
Again, we can't name them, but yeah, I think you made the right choice. What about you, Sayam? When I remember, we're brothers, and when we started in 2019, and when I first came and told you, you told me this was not a good idea. My own brother telling me that, yeah. I mean,
look at him sitting here nicely.
Yeah. Everybody else telling you that it's you shouldn't start this is one thing, but what was your thought process behind telling me that this is not a good idea to start now? And now, of course, you're part of Blue Fort. So, how's your journey been?
I just thought it's too early. I thought it's a good idea to do your own thing and create your own business, but I just thought maybe you're rushing into it. I thought that maybe a few more years would do some good, and you just learn a lot more in the industry. And yeah, I thought just give it some more time, but of course you went with your gut feeling, which is what it should be, right? I mean, looking back, obviously things have worked out, and I can proudly even acknowledge that I was wrong at that point. But yeah, I mean, that was the only thought process. I never doubted your capability or Viraj's capability. I just thought it's just I just thought it's about the timing of it.
No, but one thing I think everyone should know, whoever's listening, and you guys as well, Siddhi and I, I think the first 2 months, right, when we had put our papers and we were working towards Blue Fort, we have done absolute random things which we haven't, which we couldn't imagine us doing it. So it could be, we've made the logo for Blue Fort.
The website.
We've made the entire website, and trust me, it's a pain. I mean, credit to whoever does it now, but it's a pain to make a website.
We made, I think, a 10-page business plan as well.
A 10-page business plan, which of course,
nothing went according to plan.
So we had grand plans. In the first year, we're going to be crossing X amount of crores or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, 6 months later, we were just looking at each other's faces with nothing. No, but yeah, what at those times, right, we actually know a person, whether you can work with him, you can't work with him, kind of a thing, right? Because it was very easy then to kind of be demotivated or be like, you know what, it's not working out, might as well go back to my dad's business, might as well go back to my previous job or whatever it was, right? But one thing, none of us, right, of course, the three of us were there, even one doubt whether we should be doing this or not, right? We always had the thing that karenge, aage badhenge, and dekh lenge jo bhi hoga, which is a very commendable attitude to have, and that is what I would like to say. Whoever's starting anything new, right?
Yeah.
They should have that. People will be there to pull you down no matter what you do, right? In a job, in a business, or wherever. But if you have that right attitude, right mindset, it can take you places for sure.
Yeah. I'm sure, but in those first 6 months, first 1 year, where also COVID hit, there would have been times where you just felt completely deflated, maybe a really bad meeting, maybe, just not seeing any progress. So how did you deal with those sort of negative thoughts or those speed bumps?
So I actually remember I had anxiety for the first time. I never knew what anxiety is. A lot of people say that mujhe anxiety and all of that, and I used to kind of just laugh it off.
Sensitive
but
topics.
But when we started in 2019, about 4 months in, not a single check, nothing, and I thought we'd kind of made a huge mistake. So I actually remember feeling my first bout of anxiety. Because you're answerable, right? You're answerable to your friends, you're answerable to your family, and there's people who constantly, your ex-bosses and your previous team, they constantly keep asking, what is your update? What is your update? You don't have an update to give. Also, we're at an age where everybody else, is just moving so fast, right? So it's very difficult. But I remember, I think we started in April, roundabout.
We started working in April.
We started working towards it in April. I think
June.
June
first
we
June
sort of
was-
got our
yeah.
first office and all of that. But I think it was all the way in October that I got my first check of 25 lakhs.
Correct.
It was one of my dad's
I remember,
associates.
yeah.
And that's when it just struck me that you can do this. So the answer is just keep trying. Just keep trying. If you keep doing it, keep enhancing your skill, keep enhancing your knowledge, then you're gonna get there. That's for sure. As cliched as it sounds, but it's there. I also want to get back to this thing that why age is not a factor in wealth management. Why do you guys think that age is not a factor? Intuitively, again, it doesn't sound right that somebody in their late 20s can advise somebody in their 50s how to invest. How do you think that is not a factor, and how do you think we've been able to overcome it?
I think age, starting off at this age, right, if you're entering the room, as you guys discussed, that you're already against a wall, right? It's an uphill task for you to begin with, because people will judge you. The only way around that is make sure you're on top of things, make sure you have good product knowledge, make sure that you're actually adding value to them. Just because someone is older doesn't mean that they're managing the portfolio in the best way.
I think you had to grow a beard to appear older.
I did. So I
I
struggled.
remember this guy going and buying glasses.
I just had to wear specs now. I just had to wear specs at that time. I was 23, guys.
So yeah, it's been an issue for me even back then when I was doing equity research, that I would be the youngest at the table and people wouldn't take you seriously, and I realized that tone would sort of change once they actually spoke to you and they understood that you know what you're talking about, right? So the only way around it is you continuously upgrade yourself, update yourself, make sure what you're saying is sensible, and just be persistent. If you're saying things that are factually correct, they can't really doubt you on that, right? If you show data-backed evidence, then there isn't that much that they can say against you in that case.
Yeah, I think that is really important point, data backed. I always tell my clients that, look, I don't have to live through 2008 for me to know what happened.
Correct.
We live in a different world. We don't live in a world that relies on memory anymore. Because most adults would say that, yaar, maine ye dekha hai, maine wo dekha hai, I've been through this, I've been through that. But somehow, social media, popular platforms allow us to experience what has happened in the past, mine through the data about what has happened in the past without us having to be there, right? So we can be wholesome professionals if we really put our back into it. That's what I believe.
Honestly, it's a serious business, right? At the end of the day, we can do these things or whatever, but we're managing money, right? What I believe is, if it was late 90s or maybe early 2000s or something, right? At that time, age would still matter. I'm not saying it doesn't matter at all, but right now, with the kind of exposure that we have, right, through social media, through various articles or newsletters or whatever it is, right, the amount of stuff that you can read, the amount of information that you can build, right, there's as Sayyam said, right, it doesn't matter what your age is now, right? You probably can know more than a 50-year-old individual, of course, with all due respect to them as well, but it's possible to know more, it's possible to be better. And one more thing which I would like to add on this is, at the end of the day, right, the business which we are in, the intentions matter more than the age, right? You can be a 23-year-old, 27-year-old individual with bad intentions. No matter what you're gonna do, you're gonna fail by the time you're 30. Right. But if you have those clear intentions, if you have that vision with that, what, agar mujhe acha karna hai, it won't matter at the end of the day ki aap kya bol rahe ho or what you're trying to how you're trying to manage a portfolio, kind of a thing, right? Because if you want to do good to that guy, it's gonna happen. So yeah, that matters as well.
I think absolutely to that end, I think also the one thing that we've learned is the importance of patience, right? You can never hurry a relationship, right? You can't sort of hurry someone into trusting you. And I think we've all learned that over time, that just try and keep doing the small things, right? Eventually, if you're adding value, the client will come on board. It may not be on day 1 or day 5 or, in 6 months, in a year. But eventually, we have seen clients come on board even after a year and a half, 2 years, because eventually they started trusting us.
So simplistically put, like you said, like, which I agree a lot, that it just depends on your aim, like, your capabilities and your knowledge, like, and it's a like you said, it's a very strict, it's a professional job. So like, nobody goes to a tailor and, like, or rather, if the tailor's young, nobody just says, like, just because he's a young tailor he won't do a good job, right? Or any other profession for that matter. At the end of the day, it's a strict profession. You just need to have the knowledge and the capabilities. I think that's all that really matters.
Yeah.